Hello everyone and welcome to my Soap Twist 24 channel. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before we begin, please hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. Remy's phone vibrated in his pocket. He ignored it. Probably his sister, questioning why he hadn't responded to her dinner-related texts. Or worst, Deke, sending a light-hearted meme to lighten the impact, as if a joke could mend the hole he'd just punched in Remy's chest. He continued going, his boots splashing in puddles that mirrored the neon of the pawn shop signs and the flickering streetlights. His destination was not home. Home was where Deke's hoodie still hung in the closet and his body indentation remained on the left side of the mattress. Home was now a crime scene. He unintentionally ended up at Electra's apartment. Muscle memory, perhaps. She lived in the same deteriorating Victorian she inherited from her grandmother, complete with a porch swing that creaked as if it were mourning something. Remy had spent half of his senior year on that swing, with Electra's head on his shoulder, listening to mixtapes Deke had prepared for them both. Back when the three of them were a unit, before Deke decided to explore other options and Remy became collateral damage. The light was on in the living room window, casting a warm gold hue across the moist yard. Remy stayed there for a long time, rain falling from his lashes, trying to determine whether he should leave. Electra did not deserve this. She'd been nothing but kind, patching him up with sarcasm and late-night pancakes when his parents kicked him out at 17 for choosing a lifestyle. She'd held his hand at pride parades, let him cry into her shoulder when his first boyfriend ghosted him. But kindness felt like sandpaper tonight. He needed something to bleed on. He mounted the steps and hammered on the door so hard that the stained glass rattled. Footsteps, followed by the click of the deadbolt. Electra opened the door, wearing an oversized cardigan, her hair twisted with a pencil, and reading glasses perched on her nose. When she looked at him, her expression softened. Jesus and Remington, you're drowned. He shoved past her into the foyer, soaking on the Persian rug her grandmother had brought back from Tehran. The house smelled like cinnamon and old books, the same as usual, yet tonight it felt stifling. Like a lie. He dumped me, Remy explained. The sentences came out flat, devoid of the drama he had practiced on the walkover.
Deke.
He's done. Electra softly closed the door, as if loud noises would destroy him. I'm sorry, honey. Don't. He turned to face her, water dripping from his sleeves. Don't do that thing where you act like it's okay.
It isn't okay.
His voice cracked. He disliked how little it sounded. He thought we were best as friends. Like I'm a side character he's cutting for season 2. Electra lunged for him, but he jumped back and collided with the coat rack. A scarf dropped on the ground. I made coffee, she explained calmly. Come sit. You're chilly. I don't want coffee. He was shaking, but not from cold. I want to know why I am always the one left behind. First my parents, then Jake, and now Deke. What is wrong with me, Electra? Tell me. Be honest for once. Her eyes flickered with something, hurt, perhaps, but she kept her voice steady. There's nothing wrong with you. Bullshit. He laughed, a shrill, unpleasant sound. There must be, because everybody leaves. And you, he pointed a finger at her. You are still here.
Why?
Were you getting out of it?
Pity?
Is there some kind of savior complex? Electra's mouth constricted. Remy, stop. No, we'll talk about it. Let's actually discuss. He was pacing now, his boots leaving muddy prints on the hardwood. You have been my safety net since we were children. Remember sophomore year? When was I suspended for hitting the guy who called me a slur? You skipped class and brought me tacos. You always show up.
Why?
So you can feel good about yourself? The straight girl who collects queer pals like Pokemon? He couldn't stop himself from saying the words, which tasted like rust. They spilled out, years of resentment that he had no idea he was carrying. Electra's face became quite still. That's not fair, she remarked gently. Fair. He rolled on her. You want to talk about fairness? Deke met his new guy during your birthday celebration. Did you know that? The one with the man bun who was constantly quoting Kerouac? They're probably together right now, laughing about how easy it was to get rid of me. I had no idea, Electra answered. I swear. Of course you didn't.
He scoffed.
You're too busy being a den mother to notice when your friends are circling the drain. Perhaps if you had paid attention, you could have warned me. Or, better still, stop bringing every fairly good guy to your gatherings so I don't keep falling for them. Electra clenched her hands at her sides. I know you're hurting.
But don't put that on me.
Why not? His voice crackled again. You are here. You're constantly present. Isn't it simple to criticize the person who stays? The one who does not get to leave. He began to cry, hot tears mixed with the wetness on his cheeks. You ruined my life, Electra. The stillness that ensued was terrible. Electra glanced at him, her eyes wide and watery. Remy's chest expanded.
He had stated that.
Something he couldn't take back. The charge had been simmering since the day Deke smiled at him across her busy living room. Electra moved first. She walked past him and into the kitchen. He heard the clink of ceramics and the gurgle of the coffee pot. When she returned, she carried 2 mugs. Steam curled between them like ghosts. Sit down, she instructed. Her voice was quiet, yet with steel in it. You're going to drink this, and then you're going to listen. Remy opened his lips to object, but the fight escaped him like air from a ruptured tire. He slumped onto the couch, the springs groaning beneath his weight. Electra placed a mug in front of him, his favorite, with a chipped handle styled like a cat tail. She remembered. Of course she did. She did not sit. She stood by the fireplace, arms folded and gazed at the fading flames. Do you want the truth? She asked.
Fine.
Here it is. I stay because I love you. No pity. Not a charity case. Love. The kind without conditions or expiration dates. Remy's throat hurt as he watched you repeat the same mistakes over and over again while still serving tacos. He couldn't look at her. But you're right about one thing, she went on. I'm tired. I'm tired of being your punching bag when the world hurts you. Tired of pretending it doesn't hurt when you lash out. Remy, I have been holding room for your pain since we were 15.
And tonight?
Tonight you crossed a line. He flinched. I didn't ruin your life, she explained quietly. You're doing that all by yourself right now. The words landed like stones on quiet water. Remy stared at the coffee, untouched. The cat mug blurred as new tears welled up. I'm sorry, he muttered. It was scarcely audible. I know. Electra's voice trembled. But sorry doesn't make up for the hole you just tore in me. She stepped to the window, placing her face against the cool glass. Outside, the rain had eased to a drizzle. Deke's an idiot. He'll see it eventually, or he won't. That is not on you. But this, she gestured between them. This is on you. If you want to destroy all bridges because you're hurting, that's great. But don't expect me to stand here and smile while you do it. Remy lifted the mug, his hands shaking. The coffee was too hot, scorching his tongue, yet he still sipped it. Punishment, perhaps. Alternatively, do penance. I don't know how to be okay without him, he said. The words felt like glass. You start by being okay with yourself, Electra remarked.
Alone.
Not with Deke, and not with me holding you up. Just you. He nodded slowly. The space suddenly felt too enormous, with quiet pressing in from all sides. Electra sighed. You can stay tonight. The guest room is set up. But tomorrow we'll talk about therapy. Real therapy, not simply complaining to me at 2 a.m. And if you ever, her voice paused. If you ever say something like that again, I won't be here when you come back. Remy stared at her, really looked. She has lines around her eyes that weren't there last year. Her shoulders curled inward, as if she were bracing for impact. He had done it. Not Deke. Not his parents. Him. I'm sorry, he repeated, this time with sincerity. Electra nodded, but did not grin. She picked up her own mug and left the room, the only sound being the gentle click of the guest room door. Remy remained on the couch until the coffee became cold. At some time, he threw the throw blanket over his shoulders, Electra's grandmother's, which she had crocheted throughout chemotherapy treatments. It smelled of lavender, mothballs, and home. He cried until his eyes swollen shut. The rain stopped, and the first gray light of dawn filtered through the curtains. When he awoke stiff and aching, there was a note on the coffee table written in Electra's precise handwriting. Therapist's phone number on the fridge. Call before noon and I'll do it for you. When you're ready, add the eggs to the pan. He looked at it for a long time. Then he stood up, legs wobbly, and proceeded to the kitchen. A rainbow flag-shaped magnet held the therapist's card to the fridge. Remy traced the raised letters using his thumb. He did not call right away. First, he prepared eggs. Electra preferred scrambled eggs with too much pepper. He arranged a table for two. She came downstairs, her hair still damp from the shower, and hesitated in the doorway. He said nothing, just shoved a plate toward her. They ate silently. The kind that wasn't empty, but was packed with things too weighty to speak about just now. After they finished, Electra cleared the plates. Remy picked up the phone. The therapist may see him on Thursday. He wrote it on the calendar by the fridge, right next to Electra's reminder to get extra coffee filters. She saw him do it, then reached over and squeezed his hand quickly and firmly. Outside, the sun was attempting to burst through the clouds. The yard was glistening with residual rain. Remy stepped onto the porch, inhaling the wet soil scent. The swing creaked as he sat, the chains rusty but strong. He stayed for a long time, thinking about bridges and how they could be rebuilt, board by plank, if you were prepared to do the effort. Electra eventually joined them, holding 2 mugs of freshly brewed coffee. She did not speak, just sat next to him, near enough that their shoulders touched. The silence stretched, but was not broken. It was stitched back together carefully. An automobile backfired somewhere on the street. Remy flinched and laughed a little, surprised sound. Electra smiled for the first time all morning. They swung softly, the porch groaning its ancient melody, and for the first time in weeks, Remy felt a glimmer of optimism. It was not fixed, not even close, but that was a start, and sometimes it is enough. Remy's hands were trembling as he closed the door behind him. The sound reverberated throughout the little flat, a piercing crack that appeared to split the air. The room was dim, lit only by the orange wash of the street lamp that bled through the slats. His breath came in sharp bursts, and his reflection in the window resembled a stranger, with flushed cheeks, crazy eyes, and the faint glimmer of unshed tears. He'd spent the previous hour wandering in circles around the block, rehearsing Deke's remarks in his head until they stopped sounding real. I can't do it anymore.
It is not you, Remy.
I just need space. I need to work something out. Everyone uses the same stale script when they're done pretending. Deke had made no attempt to apologize. There was that awkward moment when he stretched out as if to hug him, but then stopped midway, arm hanging uselessly in the air. Remy laughed loudly and brittly, then walked away before Deke could say anything else. And now here he was, pacing the living room like a caged animal, fists flexing and chest tense. The phone buzzed again on the counter, indicating another message from Electra. He looked at her name on the screen. Are you okay? I heard about Deke. Do you want me to come over? Remy felt a knot in his gut. Electra. She always had to be present, didn't she? Her shadow was always present, too close, in every aspect of his existence with Deke. She'd been Deke's best buddy long before Remy arrived. She was present at every party, late-night gathering, and quarrel they'd ever had. Deke always claimed she was harmless, that she simply cared too much. But Remy had noticed the way she stared at him, like if she was waiting for him to make a mistake, knowing it was only a matter of time until she could bring him back to herself. His chest boiled with rage. He typed back before he could think. Yes, come over. We need to talk. A knock on the door came 15 minutes later. Remy did not move at first. He simply stood there, staring at the door, his heart thumping in his ears. When he finally opened it, Electra was there in her big coat, her hair moist from the drizzle outside. Her eyes softened when she saw him. Remy, she said gently. You look... Don't, he hissed, jerking away before she could continue. Do not tell me how I look. Just come in. She paused, then walked inside, gently closing the door behind her. The air between them was dense and tense. Remy did not offer her a seat or a beverage. He simply stood by the window, arms crossed, staring out at the rain. "I'm sorry about Deke," Electra remarked after a pause. "He called me." "I did not." "He called you?" Remy pivoted swiftly, his gaze sharpening. "Of course he did." "It wasn't like that," she answered hurriedly. "He just needed to speak to someone." "He's truly torn up, Remy." Remy laughed again, with that cruel tone. "It was torn apart. Yes, I believe he is. You must have been overjoyed to receive that call." "Don't do that," she replied softly. "You know that's not fair." He moved closer, his voice increasing. "You have been in his ear for months. Don't think I haven't noticed. Every time we fought, he came to you. Every time I tried to mend something, you were right there, murmuring in the background." "That is not true," she answered, shaking her head. "I was only trying to help." "You too, help?" Remy cut her off, his eyes flaming. "Do you believe this is helpful? He breaks up with me, and you are the first person he phones. You've probably told him to do it." "You probably." Remy, stop. But he couldn't. The words were pouring out of him quicker than he could contain them, each one sharper than the last. Months of mistrust, jealousy, and hidden hatred erupted all at once. "Couldn't you stand it?" He said he loved me. That for once, it was not about you. You wrecked it, Electra. You've ruined everything. Her face turned pale. "That's not true," she said quietly. "I wanted you both to be happy." You have ruined my life," he yelled. The words resonated through the room, harsh and final. For a minute, there was simply the sound of rain against the window. Electra did not move. Her eyes glistened, but she did not cry. She only looked at him, long and steady, as if she had expected this. Then she softly replied, "No, Remy. You did it yourself." The stillness of her voice sliced through his rage like a dagger. He froze. "Do you think I wanted this?" she remarked, moving closer. "Do you think I wanted to see you both fall apart? I attempted to help you recognize what you were doing, pushing him away and second-guessing everything. You were so frightened of losing him that you did it. Don't you see this?" Remy's chest heaved. "Don't twist this." "I'm not twisting anything," she told me. "You have been angry for a long time. Not only at Deke. Look at yourself.
At me.
At everything. And now you're searching for someone to blame, because it's simpler than dealing with the real issue." He looked away, running his hand through his hair. "You have no idea what you're talking about," she said quietly. "Yes, I do. I understand what it's like to love someone who cannot reciprocate your feelings. I know what it's like to be afraid they'll leave, so you hang on so tight that they can't breathe." Remy's throat clenched. "You don't. I know you loved him," she added, her voice shaking now. "I know he loved you. But, Remy, love cannot solve everything. Sometimes it simply burns out. That's no one's fault." He wanted to yell at her again, hurl something, or do anything to relieve the pain in his chest. But all that came out was a faint, broken sound, more of a sob than a word. He fell into the couch and buried his face in his hands. Electra stood stationary for a bit before slowly walking over to sit beside him. She did not touch him, but simply sat there, her presence solid and calm. The rain outside got louder, filling the space between them. "I didn't ruin your life," she explained quietly. "I couldn't even if I wanted to."
He didn't say.
His hands trembled in his lap, and his breathing was irregular. He wanted to tell her to leave, stop talking, and stop being right. But deep down, he knew she was not wrong. His voice cracked. "He was meant to be it, you understand? I believed he was it." "I understand," she replied. "And now it's as if everything has simply vanished." Electra stared down at her hands. "It isn't gone. It has just changed. You won't like hearing this, but sometimes losing something forces you to find something else. Maybe even yourself." Remy laughed softly. "You sound like one of those self-help podcasts you enjoy." She smiled softly. "Maybe, but it doesn't make it incorrect." He wiped his face with the back of his palm. "You should not have come." "I understand," she replied. "But I didn't want you to be alone tonight." "I wanted to be alone," the man said. "No, you didn't," she replied gently. They sat silently for a long time. The wrath that had previously burned so fiercely inside him now seemed hollow, like ashes cooling after a fire. Every charge, every vicious thing he'd said to her replayed in his thoughts. "I'm sorry," he murmured quietly. "I know you are," she responded. "It's okay."
No.
"No," she confirmed. "It is not. But it will be." He gazed at her intently. Her face was tired, her eyes red, but there was no judgment. Just understanding. Perhaps even forgiveness. Remy felt the weight of everything settle into him for the first time that night, not in wrath, but in sorrow. The kind of sorrow that didn't need to be shouted or directed at someone else. It simply needed to be felt. "Do you believe he'll be back?" he asked quietly. Electra paused. "Maybe. But if he does, make sure you are prepared. Not desperate. There's a distinction." He nodded, staring at the floor. "I don't even know who I am without him." "You'll figure it out," she promised. "You always do." Hours passed, and neither of them noticed. The rain gradually ceased, leaving behind the gentle hum of a city waking awake. Remy fell asleep on the couch, tiredness finally overcoming him. Electra sat beside him, half asleep, with her head resting against the back of the couch. When he awoke, the light was wan and gray, coming through the blinds. The wrath that had engulfed him the night before had vanished, leaving only a dull ache and, weirdly, a sense of clarity. Electra was gone. On the coffee table, she had placed a note. "I didn't want to wake you.
Take some rest.
Call me if you require anything." He looked at the note for a long time. The words appeared simple, yet he sensed the care behind them. He folded it and laid it aside before standing up and looking around. The flat was disorganized, with bottles, clothes, and evidence of all the nights he and Deke had spent here. Every corner seemed haunted by memories. He began cleaning. Not because he believed it would solve anything, but because it seemed like a start. The simple act of putting things in order, dishes in the sink, trash in the bin, gave his hands something to do while his heart caught up.